About 10 minutes to go,
Sure.
okay?
Thank you. Well, what a pleasure, what a lovely introduction. I love the dancing. It just reminds me so much of sociology meetings. I just was thinking about a dance-off the whole time that was happening. So I'm going to begin with a story. I came to MIT in 1978. I came there to teach. I just finished a book on Jacques Lacan and why the French had not accepted psychoanalysis. There wasn't even a standard edition of Freud in France in the 1960s, and I took that to be a kind of puzzle about why there was a standard edition of Freud in all the other languages and why the French were so resistant until the 1960s and until really after the student movement of 68 and the early 70s in the form of Lacanian psychoanalysis. And I took that as a kind of intellectual history puzzle, and I went there to study it and wrote. MIT hired me really to teach the sociology of science. And the story of how really in my first days on the job, I became so struck by the love affair that my students were having with these new computers, the kind of relationships that people were having with their computers, to a point that it made me kind of drop what I was doing and spend really the 3 decades there enmeshed in the growing story of people and technology is the story of my career. But I bring you back to kind of 1978 in order to say that there I was, to tell you the story, there I was at MIT just beginning my odyssey, at the very beginning of my odyssey. And MIT was very gracious when I told them that I really wanted to study them. I'd been hired to do something else, but I really wanted to study them. And right away they said, sure, fine, which has really allowed me to do my work. They've been very gracious. I've been kind of a participant observer at my own institution. And I was invited to a meeting in 1978 that I want to tell you about. It was hosted by Michael Dertouzos, who was the then director of the Laboratory for Computer Science. And MIT is an urban campus, so when we want to have retreats, we go someplace else, and we go to Endicott House, which is this beautiful suburban country setting. For 3 days, the luminaries of computer science and artificial intelligence, some of the greatest computer scientists in the world, Licklider, Minsky, Fano, Dertouzos, were off in the country with me really there as an observer. And the question was, the new home computers, and they were called home computers. The word personal computers hadn't yet reached the lexicon. These were the first computers that you didn't have to build, you could buy. 1978. They were on the market, and the question was, what could we do with these home computers? How could we keep them busy?